Okay, damn it. I'm gonna freaking record something whether I like it or not. I had a deal a couple months ago where I was experimenting. I like experimenting. And I was experimenting with don't do anything physical style wise. Just shoot and kind of see what happens. It's been one of my things I've been hoping would happen for a long time was I could maybe get all these different components for all these styles I have written on my whiteboard and set, the cream would rise to the top. Sometimes I felt like that's working, sometimes I felt like it's a waste of time, but nothing's really a waste of time as long as it's fun for me, and this has been. Anyway, so the other day, when I say the other day, this was more like, probably March, and it's late June now. I was messing around with this, and I was basically I would just walk up and then shoot the shot, and then I would just walk up and then shoot the next shot. I think I was playing rotation, but it really doesn't matter. It was more just about don't get down and think about any physical style. Just see what develops. And for the most part, what I was doing was what you just seen. Just one little practice stroke, the ball goes in eventually. It was just like that. Shooting kind of fast. I used to shoot really fast back when I shot really well. I also shot fast. Probably just a coincidence. But I did notice that a couple of times I got on a shot about like this, 4 ball, straight in, long shot, definitely missable, close to the rail. And I found myself doing something else with this kind of shot. What I found myself doing was that, essentially cinching the ball. And it happened, like I said, like 3 times, and I noticed, well, that's interesting. A lot of these other shots are probably just as tough, and I just shot them. But the ones where I guess I recognized them as being tough, then I would go into cinch the ball mode. Not saying it's wrong to cinch a ball. As long as the ball goes in, however it goes in, is great, right? But what I noticed was that I was cinching the ball, but that was only like the mental side of it. There was a physical side of it, and that's what I didn't realize until a couple days ago, actually. I have to jump in the Wayback Machine one more time. There's a guy that I know at the pool hall. I haven't seen him in a couple years. He's a pretty good player. Probably APA, low 6 type of a guy, better than average, certainly. He always had something weird about the way he physically played. And for a long time, I thought he was just sidearm, not as drastic as Keith McCready. But that was probably what it was. Hey, he just plays sidearm, okay. But then I watched him one time and really paid attention to what he was doing. This is so hard to describe accurately. The way I describe it is when he would shoot, he would lead with the shoulder. That's the way I describe it, okay? I'm going to talk about how to shoot pool real quick here in case you don't know. I believe that a normal person, when they're shooting a shot, they start with the elbow and follow with the shoulder as they follow through. This is what I think just from watching a lot of people play pool over the years. I think a normal person does that. They start with the elbow and the elbow drops, they say. Now all the books say, never drop your elbow, blah, blah. You know what? I'm not going to say they're full of shit, but they're full of something. Everybody's not the same. We're not all freaking pool playing robots. So there are people, I think the majority, that start with the elbow and follow with the shoulder. Okay. There are some players, almost always really good players, that are elbow only, or as close as you can be to elbow only. Dennis is one of those guys that I've noticed a lot. Elbow only. don't know if they picked that up on their own, they were taught that, or they got it from one of these books. It doesn't matter. Freaking Dennis is, well, he's an alien. Um, there's another way to shoot, which I had never really seen before. And it's what I, like I said, I call leading with the shoulder. And that was be back on, and the shoulder moves first. It's not even a tie between the shoulder and the elbow at the same time. It's not even a tie. The shoulder moves very slightly first. The shoulder is what does the stroke, and the elbow is more or less stationary until it has to straighten out to complete the follow through. Now, I noticed this guy at the pool hall doing it, and I thought, well, that's weird. I'll never freaking shoot like that. How can you make a ball? Of course, I messed with it because I do shit like that, and I made some balls. But still, it just felt freaking weird. So I've gone back and shot my normal way or my normal circle of ways that I like to try different shit. Now I'm finally going to get to the end of the story, and I cinched the ball. I started with the shoulder. When I had that motion to cinch this 10, I'm starting with the shoulder. Didn't notice it the other day. Just thought, or in March. Just now realized it the last couple of days. When I have it, my cinch stroke is that. And that got me to thinking. Maybe I shot a lot of shots like that back then and just didn't realize. This was 30 years ago, There are some good players that lead with the shoulder. Mike Davis Jr. is definitely one of them that does. John Brumback is pretty close, but I think John Brumback is more of a tie. I think he's more of a tie. And when I talk about leading with the shoulder, I'm not talking about shoulder and then elbow. I'm talking about just a microsecond sooner. But I'm sure there are other good players that do the same thing. But I just can't think of them right now because I don't know all the good players. Most people, I believe, start with the elbow and finish with the shoulder. There are some that, as close as possible, shoot elbow only. But there are also some that lead with the shoulder. By just a little bit, lead with the shoulder. And I remember being so surprised. The first time I ever messed with this, the first time I ever met this guy at the pool hall was probably 15 years ago. No, I take it back. 10 years ago. And it was a week or so after that I started messing with it. And it was insanely accurate. Especially compared to how bad I thought it was going to be. I thought I would never make a ball or never get in shape or something really horrible was going to happen because I was leading with the shoulder. But that's not what happened. In fact, the opposite happened. Boss went in and I got shape. And yeah, I like it when my experiments do something that works for me. Okay, Dave, you shot so good, then how come you keep trying this other shit? Because like everything else, things don't often last for me. Any physical thing might work really well that night or that session, whatever. And then the next time I try it, it doesn't work anymore and I move on to something else. This is something that I've been doing for the last 20 years. I understand that a big part of it is concentration. I'm concentrating one night and shooting well, and I'm not concentrating for shit the next night and shooting badly. And I'm not blaming the fact that I'm not concentrating. I'm blaming the fact that I'm doing the Corey dual style or whatever I'm doing. I have to keep in mind that it's concentration. For the most part, when stuff falls apart on me, for the most part, it's concentration doing it. Not 100% of the time, but an awful lot of the time. So, as I said, I'm making a video, and that's what I'm doing right now. This video is that I'm going to lead with the shoulder while I'm shooting until it falls apart. It would be really nice if it never fell apart, but things do. Shoot, leading with the shoulder until it falls apart. When it falls apart, not if. When it falls apart, I'm going to try my damnedest to see if it could be a concentration thing, as opposed to just all of a sudden my latest secret of pool isn't working anymore. I'm going to try my damnedest to do that. May not work out that way. But, hey, I missed a shot. Brand new cloth. That's weird. Usually that ball just slide in on brand new cloth. I can blame that on concentration right there because I'm talking to the camera. That always messes with my concentration. I'm kind of lucky that my cat's not down here rubbing all over my feet. Should probably show up. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to still doing everything else, all my different alignment things and all that I do. I'm just trying. Missed 2 shots. Oh, sucks. Anyway, I'm going to keep trying to do it. We'll see what happens. If it falls apart and end up going on to something else again, I'm probably not going to do an update and go, oh, that didn't work. Because odds are I'll be back to it again. I have a whiteboard, all these different styles, physical players with elements that I like to imitate and stuff. Fun for me. It's fun. And I'll just go around, or I'll go around this way, or I'll pick one at random, and I like doing shit like that because it almost always see an immediate improvement for that night at least. No matter what I do off of that list, almost always see an immediate improvement, like I said, for that night. Never lasts. Nothing's lasted yet. Maybe someday I will. This leading with the shoulder thing, I never gave it a full-blown try because when it didn't work, I didn't think about the concentration part of it. I'm going to do that this time. When it falls apart, I'm going to think about concentration. And I'm rambling, and if you watch enough of my videos, you know that I ramble. Get over it, or don't. I don't think I care. Bye.